Hmm. There we go. Well, it seems I made it to YouTube. I tried, I went on, something went wrong as it usually does, and well, I made it. Okay, so I'm here coming to you live talking about Ascension teachings, talking about current events, talking about things that I'm noticing in my own life and in my communities in general. So, welcome everybody to Ascension Teachings Live. I know it was kind of short notice. I only did it yesterday. Um, so, life here on the Anne Marie front um, has been good, but it's also been a little difficult with mom. She is experiencing headaches, and I think I know what they are now because we were at church this morning and I think she experienced a seizure. And I think that's what happened. So, mom only has two really big health issues. She has um, high blood pressure and she has a seizure disorder that she was diagnosed with, gosh, close to 30 years ago. So it's been quite a while. But yeah, so that's been weighing heavily on me. You know, she's a very spry and active 99-year-old, 100-year-old person. Um, but coming face to face with her mortality, I don't know, maybe a part of me thinks that she's going to live forever. But I know that's not the case. So, just to kind of bring into focus a little bit about what the Ascension teachings is all about. And I hope people make their way over here because I'm not going to fuss with Facebook, and just make your way over to my channel. Hopefully, some of you will start coming on. The reason why I decided to start Ascension teachings is because it came out of a very frustrating and sad situation where, you know, my entire character was questioned. So I decided that it's going to put me in a place where I'm going to just be me. And I'm not going to worry about what people think about my character. And I'm not going to worry about, yeah, I'm not going to worry. I'm going to let my work speak for itself. Very shockingly, this community, one of the communities that I've been involved in for years, quite a few members are saying that I'm, you know, my guides are really evil and I'm some sort of dark being, um, you know, channeling demons and, uh, you know, influencing people unduly. And it was tough for me to swallow that, really tough, because I don't think that's what I do. I have no desire to manipulate anybody, which comes into question this concept of, you know, people in authority telling other people what to do. Now, when I first started my journey, I looked to a lot of people with big platforms for teaching, for authority, if it will. I was in the phase where I was absorbing and learning. I was in a phase where I needed to learn about this fascinating new world of spirituality and energy and extraterrestrials and secret programs and all these, new and exciting things in my life. It's the rabbit hole, if you will. And but my journey was a journey of spirit. My journey was a journey of self-discovery. And I was not left alone here. I definitely had a very, very growing and strong spiritual foundation to everything that I was learning about. And my work is public. My work is online. And if you are somebody who has come to me for help or guidance or whatever I was offering, energy healing, I gave what I could do with the highest of love intention. And if you look over the work that I've done, not one bit of it has been driven by ego. I mean, maybe I can remember one thing that I had said that was a little egotistical because I had just gotten this kind of like stream of consciousness flow that was coming through me. And at the end of my video, I made the comment, ha ha, Lori Ladd, watch out, I'm coming for you. And or watch your back or something like that. And somebody was like, how can you say that? Watch your back. That's such a negative thing to say. And I just went, oh crap, it sure was, and I didn't mean any harm of it, I just did it because I don't know, because I'm a human, I guess, figuring things out. And I want you all to understand that about me. I am a human being. I am figuring things out. And it's along this path of self-introspection and figuring things out that I have learned some really basic teachings. And that is the reason why, after my character being questioned and really, I've been made to feel very unwelcome in this particular community now. And you know what? That's my path. And if it's a signal to me that that's no longer where I am needed or wanted, then hey, I am okay with that. So in my Ascension teachings intro, I have a little picture of a tray of cookies. And I make the disclaimer, this information is offered because out of love, take what you like and leave what you don't. And the reason why I have that tray of cookies, and I've mentioned this before, is, it's an offering to you. And what you do with it is entirely up to you. How you react to me is entirely up to you. I know my intentions, and I know them to be intentions of the heart. So without going and reiterating the Ascension teachings, I'm going to leave them to kind of like stand on their own. And I just want to talk a little bit about what happens when spiritual people don't get spiritual truths. We all have our journey, okay? But one thing that I have come to really understand, and this ties in, and it's going to be another one of my Ascension teachings modules, is that what we experience in our world is a reflection of what we believe to be true. I hope you can hear me. Just notice that my microphone is a little bit far away from me and I'm not really speaking very loudly. I truly believe that everything is in our own mind. And I don't believe that we are victims of anything, especially not victims of the darkness. I have experienced a lot of darkness. I've experienced a lot of mental darkness, and I've experienced a lot of energetic darkness over the course of my life, not just recently, not just since my awakening, but really a lot of my life. And what I've come to understand is that we allow things into our lives because we believe in them. Now, I'm never not going to believe that there aren't dark energy. It would be foolish for me to not acknowledge that there are darker energies out there. But as was pointed out to me, as I up my game and as I up my presence and my frequency, the other side ups their game. Now, what does that mean to me? And I can only give you my own personal experience. I went live a few Sundays ago and talked about how I really believed that I had an entity attachment or an implant in my auric field that was siphoning my emotional energy, and it was manipulating my thoughts. But I knew that it was my thoughts that were getting me into trouble. So, what's the antidote to something negative coming into your life? First and foremost, I am so grateful that I could identify that those thoughts are not my thoughts. These racing thoughts that I had in my mind were not mine. So it was a calling for me to be stronger. It was a calling for me to observe my mind and to stop the reaction and to discipline my mind. It's interesting. I just came across somebody posting about getting out of the suffering mentality and or getting out of poverty mentality, and then saying that, you're going to suffer. I was like, hold on a minute. Suffering is poverty mentality. It takes mental discipline. Do you guys realize suffering is a choice? Going through difficulties is not a choice. We're going to go through difficulties. We're going to hurt. We're going to cry. And in many cases, I mean, if you break your leg, I mean, pain is not an option. We're going to go through difficulties. We're going to go through pain. But what exactly is suffering, though? Suffering is piled on top of what you are going through. It is a state of being that is created. It is a reaction to your reality. Suffering is victimhood. It's the why me. And I'll tell you, I remember slipping into suffering. You guys know, if you've been following me for a while, you know that I've had issues with my thyroid, and I ended up, when I was up in New York and I was selling my house, I had what's called a thyroid storm, and it really messed me up. It took me a couple of years to recover from it. And I'm still in a process of recovery. And I remember the exact moment when I knew I had slipped into suffering. And it was when I found out, not only was I almost single-handedly packing, throwing out, clearing, cleaning the house that I'd lived in for about 20 years, having 30 plus years of marital possessions, my possessions that I had to get rid of in a very short window of time. Like I had 2 months to closing. And not only that, I had to go back to school, start the year. And it turns out that my principal had moved the art room. And I was sitting in the middle of the art room with all of an elementary art room. We're talking 6 classes a day, 6 subject levels, grade levels. What they did was they moved the stuff into the room and just threw it into a pile. And this was a week before school started. And so there I was, not only dealing with the emotional and physical strain of getting rid of my life, of moving out of a home that I loved, but there I was having to set up this classroom, taking time out of my life to do that. And I knew the exact moment I slipped into the why me. I slipped into suffering, into complaining. Look, life is hard. And I'm not saying we're not going to go there every now and then. Okay. These past couple of days have been incredibly difficult for me. And it takes a lot of discipline and work not to feel sorry for myself, not to regret things. And that's one thing you can be absolutely sure about me is that I'm including you on my journey. I'm using my own experiences as a teaching tool for somebody else. And so that's just me. That's how I work. So really, really understand this concept of suffering. Suffering is an option. Difficulty is not. Challenges are not. One of the big lessons from the most recent person that I found out thinks that I'm a witch, thinks that I'm a black witch. And and this person has a big social media following, goes on lots of podcasts, and has known me for about 4 years and was actually on this trip that I went to in Egypt. And I just found out recently what she believes about me, which explains how she was treating me on this trip. And so I got to get back to my point. Forgive me. Again, I went off on this tangent. Anyway, what I'm coming to understand about people in authority is, first of all, nobody's doing anything. Well, I can't tell. I don't know why people do what they do. As I said before, I'm just going to tell you what I do and why I'm doing what I'm doing. So, okay, now I know why I brought that up, because I went to a couple of friends of mine who I believe to be very powerful, enlightened beings for advice. I had found out that another person in this community that I was a part of found out or believed, tapped in to their higher being and saw me as a dark witch. So it's very confusing for me. And one of the things that I really believe in is frequency. I believe in frequency, in the band of frequency that we dwell in. And I believe, because I've experienced it, when I used to get attacked by the darkness, what stopped the attack was my knowledge and belief that the dark is merely absence of light. And even those darker energies, they've lost their source. And so they're seeking the source from us, whether it be through Loosh, whether it be through whatever it is. The darkness is merely looking for the light. They're merely looking for source. And when I remove entity attachments from people, that's my philosophy. You've merely been mistaken. These entities are merely mistaken. This individual is not their source. Source is really their source. And then they feel that they're going to be judged and they don't believe it. And so this is true for all of us. Okay. But once I understood that really they can't get to me, and I represent, and if I remove the enemy part of this duality, this dualistic play that we're in, if I remove that concept that that entity is my enemy, then what am I looking at? I'm only looking at something that's part of me. I'm only looking at my reflection somehow because it's in my awareness. And so, what do I need to do? I need to merely love and offer them as much love as I can, while also offering myself love. I have been confronted or placed in the path of several individuals that want to leave the planet. They want out. And it is difficult for me. I wish I could say that I have all the answers. I wish I could say that I can wave some sort of magic wand and make everybody's pain go away. But ultimately, my friends, we are here to experience the gamut. My latest installment of the Ascension teachings yesterday was this concept of duality. We come into this reality out of separation, and we have karmic entanglements. I don't know the full truth of it. Like, I know that we are source consciousness. We are experiencing and creating our own reality through the thoughts and beliefs that we have in our minds. But we've also got other lessons that we need to learn along the way, and our guides manipulate and create scenarios for us to learn lessons that we're meant to learn. So there's a couple things happening to us while we are incarnate, while we're here, digging deep into this dream, this nightmare, this creation that we know is life as we are. And so in my path, like I said, I've had quite a few individuals that either have voices talking to them, telling them that they want, they need to die. And other people within a month, very serious situations. And I've had to come to the understanding that my version of love here has to place myself first. This is something that we don't quite understand sometimes. It's not about loving anyone less, but it's about loving yourself more. And ultimately, yes, people come to me for assistance and help. And gosh, I am so grateful to be in this position. But ultimately, it's not my responsibility to save anyone. My guides have been very, very clear over the course of my public life as a channeler and a healer. This is your individual journey. This is your go at whatever it is you need to accomplish while you're here on the earth plane in whatever time you're here for. And so that's why it behooves us to do digging within ourselves, and it behooves us to be humble. I've often said, if anybody tells you that they know the ultimate answer, that they're 100% correct, they're being driven by ego. And so, as I was saying, I don't know the intention of people and why they say what they do and why they do what they do. But, this realm of YouTube allows anybody with a computer to put themselves out there as an authority, or not even as an authority, as just, hey, this is my life. Come look at it. But that's not my intention here. Well, maybe it is. I don't know. So this past week has been very challenging with my mom facing her mortality. Being a caregiver is not an easy task. And I'm always checking myself. Before I came live, I was working on my book again. And I was talking about how anxiety was ever present with me in my young adult years, and talking about how my mother was a source of that, because she was very demanding. And when I moved out from under her roof when I was 18 and moved up to Gainesville to go to university, I actually lived in this very bedroom, 17, 18, my years of 17 and 18. And I moved back here 4 years ago. When I moved out of her roof to live as a college student, I felt such freedom. But I think it shifted something within her, and I couldn't do anything right. And it was very difficult for me. I'm such a free spirit. I'm such an open person. And I've always wanted mom's approval and love, but it was very hard to get to. And so now, with her living for so long, and understanding that I'm in my current position because I've chosen to be, you know. So I've created this reality for myself. Would I rather be traveling? Oh, heck yeah. Would I rather be out dancing and in relationships and having fun? Yeah, probably. So let's use this opportunity of me revealing this as kind of an opportunity for everyone to look at the limits that you place on yourself. And you have options. You can accept the limits that you place on yourself. You can accept your situation and make the best of it. Or you can change. And you can just do things anyway. And I've done, for many years, I've done things anyway. I mean, I left mom. I took care of everything. I made sure she was safe, which is my highest requirement. And I went away for 2 weeks and went on a fantastic trip to Egypt. And she never died. She didn't die. I came back and she was still alive. My son took care of her and it was great. So understand, my friends, which is really what I want to get into and what I want to close this time with you out. Please know that you are in a band of frequency. Okay. And in that frequency band, there are peaks and valleys. Frequency is in flux and it's a bandwidth. And this, my friend David, really brought it home for me. There are times of compression and there are times of release. There are times of ease and there are times of difficulty. And so when you are in these times of difficulty, be kind to yourself. Be good to yourself. Allow yourself to lose it if you need to lose it. And just know that each day is an opportunity for you to renew yourself, for you to just say, I'm glad that day is over and I have an opportunity to start over again. So notice the cycles that we live in, the day and the night, the ins, the outs, the ups and downs, this concept and this reality of duality that we live in. And let's be grateful for the opportunities constantly to recreate ourselves, to renew ourselves, to be fully present in our human experience, to not reject where we are, but to be grateful for it, to allow for things to be, and to look forward to the changes that will come. This morning, this is the last thing, and then I'll leave you guys today. And thanks for joining me. This morning, yesterday, I went back to my hypnotherapy school to participate in one of their practicals weekends. And I needed to release a part of me that needed to be heard. It was that part of me that was really angry, and was really hurt by all that transpired with my ex-husband, and how those of you who know me know that I really wish I had more children. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. I really wish I had more children. I was in my early 20s when I had my sons, and I was married for 20 years, from like 23 to 45, pretty much my childbearing years. And then, when my ex-husband, he didn't want children, but then ended up getting married again and having 2 more children. So that part of me that had to swallow that needed to get it out. And it's put me in kind of a melancholy mood these past couple of days, which is all right, all right. But anyway, my friends, here we are. The beauty of hypnotherapy is that we were working with 2 parts of my mind, not just the part of my mind that really needed to vent and express how unjust it was and how unfair it was. But there was also a part of my mind that was called acceptance. There was jealousy. Was it jealous? I don't remember what her name was. But there was also the part of my mind called acceptance. And what that part of my mind, acceptance, told the jealous part of my mind was that you're ignoring your now moment. That's all water under the bridge, years and years and years ago. And that's what I wish to leave you with. Whatever it is that you're worried about that's off in the future, whatever it is that you're lamenting from your past, you're distracting yourself from your now. Right here and right now is all that matters. And right here in this right now moment, I'm safe, I'm happy, I'm blessed. I know I have love. I may not have it from a partner, but I know that I have love. My mom loves me, my kids love me. My true friends who know me love me. And most of all, I know that I am loved by God, by Source, by my guides, by my angels. We're never, ever, ever alone. Even though the exterior world may tell us that we are, and our minds might tell us that we're alone, we're not. Even though our minds might tell us that we're lonely, we could be lonely. It's okay. It's merely an experience that you have control over. So let's come back to the now moment. Let's understand what contrast provides us. If we know how we like to feel and we know how we don't like to feel, let's not dwell there in the not liking feeling part, and make choices and decisions and affirm for ourselves that we can choose joy, we can choose love, we can choose the now moment, and we can create pleasure for ourselves. We can create joy for ourselves. We can release the distractions. We can release the dark thoughts. And do it quickly, because the longer you live with the dark thoughts, the more difficult they are to lift off of you. They kind of embed themselves and they become a parasitic entity, and we don't want that. All right, my beautiful friends, I will let you all go. Thank you for being there. Like, subscribe, share this information if you think it'll benefit anybody. And as always, what I offer you from the goodness of my heart. Take what you like, leave what you don't. Take care.